I vividly remember one distributor we pitched to was called The Dude and claimed to be that real life dude from The Big Lebowski.
If you can engage storytelling in your work, whatever line of work that you're in, you're probably going to find that the people you're communicating with are going to be far more likely to A, listen, because they'll be interested, and B, retain the information that you're trying to give them. I've never liked the word exploit your film, but that is what you're trying to do. There's just so many options for distributing your films, videos and content on so many different platforms at the moment. So it's something that we've done a lot, and it's changed enormously in the last 10 years.
Video on demand platform that we're able to control sort of the pricing and territories quite well, which is Vimeo on demand, and we've used that a lot over the years. And the reason is that you can really control self-distribution. People can buy a title and then stream it, and then over time we've also got involved with bigger subscription-based video on demand platforms like Amazon Prime Video, and that's quite a matrix of different options you've got. And I think my key outtake would be to maintain as much flexibility as possible until you find a platform that reaches your audience and also returns back to you.
Yeah, and if you can do non-exclusive deals through your distributor, I think there's a huge advantage, because for you as a filmmaker to go and approach every single network and do that legwork yourself is incredibly huge amount of work. So distributors can really take all that work off your hands.
The cautionary note for filmmakers is when you're using distributors, they are essentially a middleman, and you really need to find a good one that you trust. So let's say they go and sell a title for you for, say, $2,000 would be, a pretty average kind of sale price to a TV broadcaster or something like that. Regrettably, of that, income, they're going to keep a commission, as you'd expect. They're also going to take away a lot of their, transactional costs in terms of technical costs in preparing that title for market, and also their travel and marketing expenses. It can mean with a $2,000 sale, you end up with nothing. It can happen. So you really want to be pretty careful that, you're finding someone able to live up to the expectations that they set out at the start and is able to return some income to you.
If you build a really strong audience and you build them in the lead up to the release, and then you can have a huge impact on the day of release, and then that could actually generate a broadcaster picking it up, or a film festival picking it up, or whatever it is. So it's kind of you're backing into the distribution as opposed to having it all set up front. So there's so many different models you can use, and I would just recommend that people really do their homework on what the different options are and what are the things that you're trying to get out of the release of your film. Are you trying to get as many eyeballs as you can on it? Are you trying to recoup the cost of producing it? Are you trying to leverage it to get your next project produced? So you need to be really clear on what your goals are.
So the key then is not to sign over all of the rights exclusively to one person, one group. Hold on to as many of those rights as you can, even if it's in a non-exclusive basis, so you can experiment and find, what's the best way to both get a return and reach your audience to make the biggest impact.
I think you've got to get creative in how you're going to, I've never liked the word exploit your film, but that is what you're trying to do. You've made this piece of work, you've poured your heart and soul into it, and you want it to be really successful. So I think it's really important you think about distribution from, before you even roll camera. Distribution is how you get your film in front of an audience, and outreach is about how do you get your film to do something, to get people to do something. I mean, there's some amazing impact films, but they don't necessarily have an outreach component. So, for example, one that's coming to my mind right now, a film that I really love called The Blind Side, the Sandra Bullock story of the young boy who becomes a football star. It's a really powerful film, and it really makes you think, and it really starts some powerful conversations. But I saw it as a film on television So it wasn't an outreach film. Whereas if I'd seen it in a cinema environment, but afterwards there was a panel and a discussion and people were asked to join a mailing list or make a donation or get involved with a particular charity or do something, then that becomes an outreach event.
You need great distribution, you need great reach, because that's ultimately can do a lot of good and can shift consciousness and can help people look at things in a different way. Broader the better, really, if you're trying to make an impact. You also want really targeted good outreach, which makes sure that that content you've produced gets in front of the people who can help you make the change you want to see in the world.
So I guess the thing is you can have distribution without outreach.
Yes.
But you can't really have outreach without distribution.
That's right. We see in our line of business doing a lot of films in particular around things like health issues. You know, health is, often this area that has a lot of messaging like don't do this, do that, don't smoke, don't drink, don't consume too much sugar, do exercise, The thing is, to really bring that to life, you need a story, you need a way to engage and empathise, because people don't love being told what to do.
If you can engage storytelling in your work, whatever line of work that you're in, you're probably going to find that the people you're communicating with are going to be far more likely to A, listen, because they'll be interested, and B, retain the information that you're trying to give them.
Spot on, and add a visual to it. What's the old saying? An image is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Find a great image, add your story to it, and you're on the right track.
You're on the right track, absolutely.
And I think the key is caring about evaluation. You have to evaluate whether you made an impact. And the impact that you're evaluating is going to be different depending on what you're trying to achieve. From our experience, it can mean getting a new school built in your community. It can be a new hospital getting built, lives being saved, people having better information so that they can prevent diseases. Impact can take all different types of forms, and it's going to depend on what you're passionate about and what your mission is. So this is why we end up mainly collaborating with purposeful organisations that have some sort of purpose or mission. And why do we work with them? Because they're interested in impact too.
You need to have where are you now and where are you going to? And then you've got to break it all down and figure out how to get there.
There are so many people out there that we know, that we've collaborated with in different corners of the world, that really care about this stuff and also specialise in this work. So, after you've got your plan, you will be able to find someone who specialises in this type of communications, who you can collaborate with, who can help you put it on screen.
Yeah, definitely. And so I would also encourage anyone who wants some more information to reach out and connect with us. So you can find us on all the social media. You can go onto Moonshot Agency and get all the links, and we're on LinkedIn, and you can respond to this podcast. And
that's the feedback loop. We want to hear from you, reach out. We're here. We're all evolving, humanity's moving forward, and we can only do that together. I think that can be a powerful force for good, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So please do reach out and connect to us, and we would love it if you could leave us a review on whichever platform that you're listening to or watching this on, and we'll put all the links to everything in the show notes.
All right, well, until next time.
Adios. Welcome to the Moonshot